We'll call the Carlisle Village Council meeting to order. Would everyone please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Bicknell.
Here.
Mr. Jewett.
Here.
Mr. McEldowney.
Here.
Mr. McIntosh.
Here.
Ms. Tankersley.
Here.
Mr. Humphries.
Present.
Mayor Winkler.
Here. We have no executive session tonight. If you're looking at our agenda, it's been canceled, so we'll move past that. We'll move on to the minutes. We have a motion to suspend the reading of the minutes by the clerk.
So moved.
Roll call.
Ms. Tankersley.
Yes.
Mr. Humphries.
Yes.
Mr. Bicknell.
Yes.
Mr. McEldowney.
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh.
Yes.
Mr. Jewett.
Yes.
Mayor Winkler.
Yes. Before you are the minutes of our regular meeting of April the 10th. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, we have a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Tankersley.
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh.
Abstain.
Mr. Jewett.
Abstain.
Mr. McEldowney.
Yes.
Mr. Humphries.
Yes.
Mr. Bicknell.
Yes.
Mayor Winkler.
Yes. The minutes of April 10th have been adopted. We'll move on to public forum. Is there anyone in the audience this evening who would like to address council? If so, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, please.
No, I'd have to be here the first night with the new sound system, or I intimidated. You can test it out. Lucy Boyer, 449 Lomar. You know, I was here the last time, and last time I had just gotten this comprehensive plan, like right before you did. I'd gotten some things on my email, but I didn't see this document until right before, so I didn't really know too much about it, but over the ensuing 2 weeks, I was able to talk to some people. One person actually who served on the original committee that worked on this, and I found out that there's some of you here that worked on that and on Planning Commission also. And I thought, you know, I'm not real familiar with city government. I'm not real familiar. I didn't know this even existed. But that's what I sort of wanted to talk to you about tonight. I thought, well, is this some archaic thing, you know? And so I was looking around on here, and I found it said, I'm quoting from page 98, it says, "The future land use map is an element of the comprehensive plan that illustrates the recommended future land uses for all property in the community over the term of this plan, or roughly the next 20 years. So I'm thinking, well, when was that adopted? It was only adopted in 2011. So that's pretty new, really. And honestly, I think it's great. I think it's a great plan. I thank those of you that worked on that. I know it was a lot of work, and it's a thankless job sometimes to do that. I know that this person I talked to told me that there were surveys done. I actually filled one out. I think was one of the surveys for that. They did interviews. There was money paid out for a consultant. And there was a lot of work. This is really a big deal, and I didn't know it, but it's really a pretty big deal. So I guess my question to you, and maybe you don't even have an answer for this. Maybe you thought about it yourself. How in the world did we get to this situation on Casey's? Because it seems so plain in here. I'm thinking, did some people not know about this or what? And I was reading over this, and I kind of had to chuckle a little bit because it sounds like something I would have stuck in there if I was on that committee to make sure somebody didn't just throw my work away in 5 years. But on page 90, it says, I quote, "A great deal of effort went into the formulation of this comprehensive plan, and to simply place it on a shelf and forget about it would be a waste of time and effort. The Carlisle Comprehensive Plan is intended to be used on a daily basis by council, planning commission, and staff as they fulfill their duties. They should continuously refer to the comprehensive plan to ensure their actions and projects they review are in keeping with the goals and recommendations outlined in the plan." I'm nervous. So here's where I am with this. I'm just begging you. I don't know what else to do. I know you're not the ones who are going to vote on this. I know it's not you as a body. A couple of you will have a chance to vote, but people like you guys were elected, and people like you, and they respect you, and they listen to you, and they think, that you'll do the right thing, and that you'll have your finger on the heartbeat of Carlisle. And I'm just hoping you can kind of empathize with us that live there and understand this is not just a business to us that we're trying to make money on. This is our life. This is our home. And, we don't live in fancy homes. There are a lot of fancier homes in Carlisle. But we love it there, and we love living in Carlisle. And I guess I'm just asking you to do whatever you can to try to keep this from happening. Thank you for being so respectful to us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Public forum is still open if anyone else would like to address council. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Inez Burgess, and I live at 460 Lomar. Once again, I want to ask you not to let Casey's locate where they are at 760, where they want to at 767 Central. There was a reason that it was zoned the way it is, to keep things like that from taking over Carlisle. We like our bedroom community, and it was studied a lot. In fact, I think my husband was on council when this was made, one of the rules. It was meant to be like for barber shops and ice cream shops and small restaurants and things like that, not a big place that'll come in and take over the city. There's other places that are better for a location for that place if they have to be in Carlisle. It's just too close to our churches and our schools. I'm concerned about our children, because children walk up and down Lomar to get to school. And if you widen Lomar so that those big trucks can come out on Lomar, that will destroy our neighborhood. And I beg you that it's just too close to our homes and our schools and for the betterment of Carlisle. I love where I live, and I don't want to see intense traffic. I already have more because a lot of people want to not wait for the stoplight and come down Lomar. They cut through the other lots. So I'm just a mother that cares about her children, her grandchildren, and other people's children. And where I live, it's very important to have peace. And the people, the neighbors that will be close to this place, will never have peace again. So please, if you can do anything at all to keep these people from moving in, we'll be eternally grateful to you. Thank you for letting me talk to you tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming. Public forum is still open if anyone else would like to address council.
Good evening, Chuck Wiggins, 396 West Lomar. Thanks for this time to speak with you. I'm not going to take much of your time. I'm just going to speak for our neighborhood group has been working on providing the evidence for the points that we have presented about the conditional use. And just to remind you that for letter A, harmonious and appropriate to the neighborhood, letter B, would not be detrimental to property values, letter C, that it wouldn't restrict our existing use of our properties, letter G, for the public health, safety, and welfare of the general community, letter H, hours of operation, letter K, ingress and egress to minimize traffic congestion. For all those points, we have provided documentation to say that this conditional use does not meet the criteria. Casey's and the presentation that they've made does not provide any data. They just say it meets the use. We've actually provided documentation. And finally, just ending with the comprehensive plan, which, as Lucy stated, several members of this council were on. The chairman of the Planning Commission was on. One of the property owners on the conditional use was on. I participated as an interviewee, It was a public, very public use for Carlisle to put together that comprehensive plan. And it states very plainly that this is a source water protection area where they're projecting to put this gas station, and that it's a part of development area 2, and specifically says in the comprehensive plan, no gas station should be built. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming. Public forum is still open if anyone else would like to address council. Seeing none, we'll close the public forum. We'll move on to council reports. Mr. Humphries, would you like to start this evening?
Thank you. I've got a couple things. I was fortunate enough to get to go to the Area Progress State of the County address and Shaker Run. That was Tuesday the 17th. And a couple things I took away from there was that we're one of only 3 counties in Ohio that has been awarded the AAA bond rating. So I think that's pretty prestigious to be able to get to that point. The new $50 million jail is about to break ground and move forward with that. We are continually the 3rd fastest growing county out of 88 counties in Ohio. And the fairgrounds is getting ready to break ground on the new event center that has a capability of having up to 1,000 people in it. So one of the neat things they made the comment about that is our fairgrounds is actually self-sustainable compared to other fairgrounds in Ohio that have to be subsidized by the county commissioners. And then had an opportunity to go the Wednesday the 18th to the Warren County Municipal League dinner, and our guest speaker that night was Judge Peeler, and his comments were about the opioid and the drug court, and pretty insightful information about where we're at with the communities trying to come together to fight an epidemic that needs to get a handle on. And lastly, I'd like to ask, where are we on any communication with Dubois Apartments?
None, to be frank. We have not been able to set up a meeting yet with them. So the ball's in my court to try to contact them again to get together.
The reason I will continue to bring that up is I've got community members that are being addressed by shingles or yard work and things of that nature by property maintenance. And then as an elected official, they're coming to me wanting to know how this sits in a state of condemnment. And so for that, I'll appreciate your time.
Fair enough. The property owner had, a few years ago, when they had expressed interest, their plans were to rehab those buildings. Obviously, that has not happened. So we need to
I guess
encourage
as my first,
one way or
as
the
my
other.
first comment was, I'd like to have some type of a 90-day action plan of where they may go or not go, or just so we have an idea of some form of input from them.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tankersley?
Do we know where Planning Commission is on this Casey's thing? Does anybody know what stage they're in at it?
I have not been to any of the meetings myself. That might be a question for one of our members who represents council on planning commission.
It was tabled, the discussion was tabled till May 3rd at the last meeting, at the April 5th meeting.
Okay.
So no vote has taken place as of yet.
Okay, and council won't be voting on that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say that while I would love to see Casey's in the village of Carlisle somewhere, I put myself in their place, and I don't think I'd want it in my front yard either. So I don't know, if, that means anything, but I do think I'd like to have it in here. I just wish that they would find another spot. And Jonathan, are you able to talk with them about something like that?
Talk with,
Casey's, I mean, when you guys have you guys going to have any more discussions with them?
all the conversation has happened at the planning commission meetings in an open forum, in a public forum.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McIntosh?
A couple things. First off, I would like to thank council for excusing me from the last meeting. I was on family vacation, got to take my son to Disney World, so I appreciate you allowed me that time off. I hate to miss a meeting, but I appreciate that. Second item, there is still a vacancy for Planning Commission. So anyone that's interested in trying to make a difference or voicing their opinion, there is an opening for Planning Commission, and we've not received any applicants in close to 2 months now. So I would encourage someone to please step up. Would like to remind everyone that there is an election coming up. Please get out and vote. And on behalf of the Lions Club, I would like to thank everyone that attended their fish fry. I know they had a very good turnout, so I appreciate that. You know, they do a lot for our community, and I appreciate everyone supporting them. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McEldowney?
I was just going to remind of the upcoming election, and that was all. Mr. McIntosh hit on that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jewett?
I'd like to thank council for excusing me while Brad was on vacation last meeting. I was in a work emergency and it was nowhere near as fun as what he was dealing with. So I thank you all
Probably
for
equally
excusing me.
as chaotic, though.
When you have a water line burst, it is not a fun time. Thank you for excusing me on that. And the other thing is I've noticed is it's getting back into yard mowing season. I've noticed people mowing their yard and blowing it out onto the street, which makes for dangerous conditions for motorcyclists and also to not have your grass clippings go into the storm sewers. So that's all I have this evening.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bignell?
I just wanted to say congratulations to the 5th and 6th grade girls cheerleading competition team. They did finish first overall at state, and they were the grand champions of the morning session. So it's great for Carlisle. The girls did a really good job, and just congratulations to them, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. We'll close the council report, move on to mayor's report, and everyone stole any thunder I had. So I'm going to thank the Lions Club for the fish fry. It was very good. I just need to get Mr. Diver to stay away from my plate. He keeps trying to fill me up every time I get a little low on fish, but it was a great time. That's all I have for mayor's report. So I'll close mayor's report and go to manager's report.
Okay, thank you. I do have a few things this evening, some upcoming events, just to let everyone aware of. Let's see, this Saturday, the Boys and Girls Baseball Softball Associations are going to have their opening day ceremonies. There will be a parade. Due to the short turnaround time of trying to organize the parade between the two entities, we are changing the parade route this year to avoid the railroad. The railroad requires a lengthy heads-up notice to possibly slow the trains down for us. There's not enough time to coordinate. So the parade will begin at the Carlisle High School. It will travel south on Jamaica to Central, turn left on Central, and then turn left again on Park before the railroad track. And at that time, the boys will, or the baseball, could be boys or girls, baseball will turn right to head to the field on Fairview, or they will have to cross the railroad tracks, and then the softball teams will turn left on Fairview and then kind of head back to the high school. So it'll a little bit different, but everyone's on board, and so just kind of get the word out if you know anybody who's on a team. It's a little bit different. The lineup starts at 8, and the actual parade is at 9. Let's see, we do have at the Carlisle High School this weekend, they are doing the musical production, Fiddler on the Roof. The shows are Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m., and then there is an understudy show, I believe Sunday at 2, I believe. I bought my tickets today, and seats are filling up, so I highly encourage people. You can go online and reserve your seat, or you can buy them at the door. I know the group has been working very hard. Our Quentin, our local IT person, is actually assisting, so that's why he is not here tonight. Let's see. This Thursday, April 26th at 7 p.m. in the high school commons, there's a community public forum where there's going to be an update about the new school buildings and a question and answer period with staff and I believe the developer there. So if the community is curious about what in the world's going on and why haven't they started building yet, this is an excellent opportunity to kind of get some more information about it. And again, that's Thursday, the 26th at 7 p.m. in the high school commons area. Next weekend, May 4th, to let everyone know to be careful out there, it is prom night for Carlisle High School. My understanding is that the after prom activities will be at the Chautauqua Community Center. There will be a mock crash at the high school as well on May 3rd, where the Carlisle Police, Fire, and GEMS will all join forces to try to emphasize for them to make really good choices on that day and every day since. The reminder that our well water testing event is coming up at the high school on May 1st. This is free and open to members of the community, not just Carlisle residents, but township residents as well. That is Tuesday, May 1st, beginning at 4:30 and ending at 6 o'clock p.m. You just need to bring a clean, regular-sized water bottle of your water to be sampled. They will do free screening of nitrates, nitrites, and iron screening. And there is an optional extended test that you could purchase as well at the event for $20, which I'm told is a significantly reduced cost. So we do encourage people to go test the quality of their waters. And then just a reminder that the voting is May 8th, in case you're curious when it was. There are a couple, there's one local issue on it. It is a renewal of the Carlisle operating levy. So we do have a local issue on the ballot. And there is one statewide issue also on the ballot. So it's not just about candidates for offices at this point. There are a couple issues on it that residents may want to know about. We'll post something on our Facebook page to get the word out. I encourage people to check both Warren County and Montgomery County Board of Elections website. Great source of information where you can actually see the ballot language before you go and vote. And I think that is it.
Okay, thank you. We'll close manager's report. We have no committee reports, no old business or new business, and we have no readings of first, second, or third readings of ordinances and resolutions. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Jewett,
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh,
Yes.
Ms. Tankersley,
Yes.
Mr. Bicknell,
Yes.
Mr. Humphries,
Yes.
Mr. McElDowney,
Yes.
Mayor Winkler.
Yes. Before we adjourn, I'll just announce our next meeting is May the 8th at 7 o'clock. We are adjourned.